I want us to advance a bit of what you've just done. So we are still continuing with our Java networking program. So this is where we have written two applications that are communicating with one another. We have seen that the client sends a message to the server and the server displays that message. So I've made copies of those applications because I want to modify them. So we have client application 1 and server application 1. So let's look at the code as we did it last. So that is the client application has the my client.java and the server application has the my server.java. If I look at my client.java, we start from in the main method. So if you look at this code, so we from the main method we created a JFrame, which was the one to anchor our message dialog and our input dialog. Then we created the socket class, an object of the socket class, which was to communicate to the server. So out of the socket class, we use the data output stream to send the message to the server by locating the socket, by locating the server through its address and the port number. So once it's accepted on the server side, then it sends a message. And to send a message, we used a J option input dialog. So this will allow the user to type the message that you want. And then that message will then be written to the server directly using the data input stream. This is the DOP object. It picks the message, this message which is captured through the J option, and then it is written directly to the server. Then after that, then we close the socket, meaning we add the communication. Then when we go to the server side, again, we created the JFrame that will be used to anchor our message dialog. Then we have the server socket. So the server socket, we give it the port number. So then it creates a socket object also. So this object will be the socket that will be accepted from the client. And once it's captured, then we get the input stream from it. This input stream on the server side is the output stream on the client side. So whatever was sent through the output stream comes in on the server side as an input stream. So whatever message was sent is what will be read on the server side. So we create a string object or a variable which will assign the value that we shall read from the input stream which is coming from the client side. And then we use a J option pane to display that message, saying incoming message is, then we put the message here, and then once we now run our program, then the message will be displayed, and then we close. So we can run this briefly just to demonstrate. So we run the server application. This is the server window, and then we come to the client application and we also run it, so that we see the client window is here. So after that, then what we could do is that if we now type the message here, hello, then you see that the server window displays that message and says incoming message, hello. Okay, so what do we want to do now? We want to modify this application such that the client sends a message and the server side can also choose to send a message back to the client, and the client can send, so it can have a two-way communication. Okay, so we'll have a situation where once the client sends a message, then the server captures that message, displays it, and then it is also captures the message from the user and sends the message to the client. The client reads the message, also capture more, get more message from the user, and then send the server like that. So such that if the server was to be on a different machine and we have two people using this system, then they can send messages to and fro within the system using a Java platform. When we want to capture the message that is coming from the server or from the client, so what we are going to do, we are going to add a small modification on our JFrame window. That's the graphical user interface. So we are going to add a J label. So let's go to where we have imported the JFrame. So on the Swing package, we change this to star, meaning we are importing all the classes of the Swing package to make it easy. So we're going to come here and create a JFrame, a J label equals L equals new J label, in bracket. This label will be saying, because we are now on the client side, so we'll say it will be saying what the server have said. Server said, and then we put that, and then we add this label now on our JFrame. So we are going to add it on the northern part of the JFrame. So we'll say J dot add, and then we put the component L. But remember that the JFrame default layout manager is the border layout. So we add the J label to the frame. So we see J dot add, then we put the label, and now we want to put it on the northern side. So we say north. So we say north. Then we put the L. So that means that we'll have a J label at the northern part of our JFrame. We come now to the socket side, and the question is, what shall we do with the socket? So with our client side, we'll be sending the data using the data output stream, as we have done. But then we shall also create a data input stream, because we may need to read the data that is coming from the server. Remember, now this is a two-way communication. So we say data input stream. So we'll have a data input stream. We can say di equals new data input stream. So new data input stream, new data input stream, in bracket, then we say s dot get input stream. Okay, so what we're going to do, we go to where we had done the imports on the input output package. We put comma to mean that we're importing all the classes from that package. So we have done that. So then let's now think of the logic. How are we going to deal with the message that is coming? So the first thing we do is that we are going to capture the value from the user, because we are on the socket side. You see, yes, this is my client. We are the client side. We capture the value from the user. Then after that, we send it. Once we send it, it will be captured from the server side, and the server side may choose to send a message back or not. So if the message is sent back to us, we then capture and we respond to it, and we keep on responding and sending and receiving and sending until the users decide to stop the conversation. What we do then, because the first time we work with the client application, we must send a message. So we are going to use a do while loop. So we'll say do can have it here. We'll have string message. You can call it in message, which will we can put it to be blank. So this is just a variable we have put there for capturing the incoming message. So we say do, we'll have string message, which will be J option pin dot type the message here. So we can also have this object here up also. There's no harm. We have the string message blank. So we have the message is equal to J option pane, okay, saying type in your message here, and then we write that message directly out. And then before we close, we have typed the message, we have sent the message to the server, and then we read the message coming from the server. So that will be the in message. So we'll say in message, in mess. So this string here, we now assign it to the incoming message equals. So we read from the data input stream that we declared, the DI. So, and we equate it to a string, so we cast it to be a string. So we say string. So we are typecasting it to string. So it's a DI dot read UTF. So if the data input string is coming up with a value, then that value we are going to assign it to the in message. Okay, and then once we read it, the next thing we are going to do is that we make our label, the label on our JFrame up there that we added to the JFrame. We want it to change its text. So we say JLabel.set text. So we want the text to be the text we have just added. Okay, so we'll say, but then we'll add something to it. We'll say server said, then we put a semicolon and a space plus the message that has come from the server. Then after that, we close our do while loop. So I want you to capture that series, that the message has come, that once we run our program, we create an input dialog which asks the user to type the message you want to send to the client. Then use the data output stream to send the message to the client. Then we use the data input stream to capture any message that will be replied by the server. Then that message replied by the server, we put it on our label, and then we check if the message that is coming from the server is saying stop, then we disconnect the system. So this is a do while, so we say while in bracket while not. So we say in message, that is the in message. Remember, the in message has been assigned the value that has come from the server, the di.readUTF. So if that message dot equals, so you can say equals in no case. If it is equals stop, so we are saying if it's not equal stop, then we loop again. Okay, so that is, this sign means here if it's not equals to. But if it equals stop, then what we do, if it equals stop, then what we are going to do is that we are going to close the communication, but then we are going to give the user a message saying that the system has disconnected. So we say J option pane dot show message So this is J. The message is the communication was disconnected. Then after that, we close our socket class and we add the application. So we need to do something similar on the server side now. Okay, we do need to do something similar on the server side. So let's go to the server side. So I hope you have looked at that code. So if you want to, you are writing your notes, you can look at that code and you write your code. So maybe let me bring this up so that the whole code can appear comfortably. So for those who are making notes, you can just pause the video and type your code for the purposes of your practice. So let me remove this now here because so of course you can see the class starts here. We'll have imported the input output package and the swing package and the java.net socket. Those are the three packages that we import. Then we create class my client. So class my client is there. Then we come to the main method. Then on the main method, we create the graphical user interface that we're going to use a JFrame and a label. And we put the label on the northern side, and then we put the bounds where we want our JFrame to be, and we make it visible. Then we come and now we work with the networking bit of the class. So we put the try block here. So the try block ends at this point here, the try and the catch block here. So this is the head of the try and catch block. Head of try and catch for those who are making notes. Then we have inside we create our objects that we want to use, the socket, the input stream and the output stream. And then after that we do a do while. The do while is the one that now keeps on looping as long as the two people want to continue communicating. So and it adds here. So this is the head of do while loop for those who are making notes. So you can just write down your notes if you want. So after that, the next thing we are going to do is to now go to the server side and do the same. Okay, the server side and do the same.